Mike James from Stade Francais doing the hard work there to win the ball, and it goes in to Spicer in centre field. Canada through Cadmont, looking again to establish a pattern then, establish a platform for themselves, which they had in the opening minutes of this game. Monroe with the diagonal kick for Van der Merwe. It's knocked forward by Shane Williams. But it was an important touch, wasn't it?
It was. It's a useful tactic. Shane Williams, dancing feet, magical when he gets the ball in his hands, but clearly not the tallest of wings. They used Takiri in the World Cup final on Jason Robinson, and if there's an opportunity with a smaller wing and you've got a big South African-born winger, then stick it up and give him a chance to compete for the ball.
Yes, we look out in this game for a man known as DTH Van der Merwe. Daniel is his Christian name, and from South Africa. He's made a late charge into this Canadian team. He is standing now behind the scrum. Lions complain of illegal tactics by the Canadians. Through John Teal on the tight head side, wearing 3. Good pressure once again by Wales. Stephen at number 8 has to hold on the ball. It's Cadmore now who attacks Popham on the 22. Luke Tate, former under-21 international with Wales before returning to the country of his birth. But it's all very, very slow, Will, isn't it?
It is. That's the way the Canadians tend to play. They've picked a big pack, haven't they, to try and take Wales on. They've felt we've got a yard here. Monroe's going to stand flat and keep using his big guys, and they've created a bit of space down the short side.
It's Culpin, the Kiwi. Well, that's a shame as far as Monroe and Canada is concerned. He couldn't keep his feet. It's Morgan Williams sniping away at the Welsh line, looking for the first try of this game and really to get back and put pressure on Wales too. Wales have to defend strongly in this position. Canada just out from the line. Can they get the ball down? Not quite. Alain Roland is playing an advantage to Canada. Wales killing the ball in there. There's a chance for the big pack to get in and drive over. Yes, the referee's awarded the try, to the delight of Rick Saggett and the Canadians. First try of the game to the big pack from Canada.
Yeah, it seems to come from nothing. They're on the 22, going nowhere, using big forward. They came to the short side and found acres of space. They did very well. I think Andy Monroe might have scored himself if he hadn't just tripped. They went back to the big forwards and they just kept it. They had the advantage. They had nothing to lose. They kept it tight and they crashed over. Very disappointing start for Wales. But look, it's all about how you react to this, how you react to this pressure. Who's the big man? Is it Biddle?
Driving for the line. No, Biddle's 7 at the back there. But the referee, Alain Roland, in a perfect position to see it. Mike James wearing 5, he was in there as well.
A forwards try.
Certainly.
A forwards try that Neil Backer was used to claim.
Yes. Essai collectif, I think they call it in France. James Pritchard looks to add the extra points from the touchline. That won't drift in sufficiently. But certainly that try has brought Canada back into it. We've got a competition, a competitive game on our hands again. It's 9-5 as we come up towards the half-hour mark.
Wales certainly won't complain with a competitive fixture the week before they play Australia. What they want to do is look to regain composure, get their hands back on the ball and continue to do what they were doing earlier on in the game, which is playing some phases, make the Canadians tackle, put them under pressure, make them infringe and play from there. Here's a chance for Kevin Morgan. Probably go up and under.
Good looking ball. Mark is called. Try has been credited to Sean Michael Stephen, number 8 for Canada. That really has brought the game to life, hasn't it?
It has. The previous 5 minutes, the excitement seems to be about the Mexican wave going around the crowd. That's brought the crowd back into it. The Welsh fans have just gone a little bit quiet. Clearly, bit anxious about the way the scoreline's moving, but stay patient.
Sorry for the confusion. The decision now is that it's Jamie Cudmore, wearing 6, who's been awarded the try. That pass was forward, surely, almost an interception, which would have been glory for DTH van der Merwe.
Oh, Sonny Parker, as he let this go, his heart must have been in his mouth. Had DTH van der Merwe committed, they used Shanklin up the middle to hold someone, and they used another decoy runner up the middle, trying to create space outside in the open channel. In fact, I think that was the same interception that Gareth Thomas gave in one of the warm-up games. Exactly the same move. Clearly something they haven't been working on that well. It's a well thought out move, but it needs to be executed extremely well. And it's occasionally why forwards get grumpy, and then you lose the link between forwards and backs. They say, last time we gave you the ball, you dropped it, or you gave an interception away. Keep hold of it, or you're not having it. And that's what forwards are like, and that's the link you need to keep open to play a positive, total game.
Referee Roller just having a quiet word with the 2 front rows.
What's the binding? Put it straight in. Wait.
Canadian guys, are they popular when they're in Wales?
Yep, certainly. Rod Snow, very, very popular man indeed. The rules are penalised at the scrum then, at the end of it. So Morgan Williams look to keep up the pressure generated by that try by Jamie Cudmore. Well, the idea was a good one. Implementation not too good.
I think that's been the story of the World Cup for all teams so far. Teams have had ideas, but implementation under pressure, opening weekend of the World Cup, hasn't been good enough. You'd expect it to improve as the tournament goes on.
Hook again, failing to find touch, and again, it's van der Merwe. Setting up the possession, good quick ball that time too for Canada. Spicer having to tidy it up, now it's Rod Snow. Untidy passage of play, but the Canadians have managed to maintain the possession, allowing Monroe to drill the kick through, straight though to Kevin Morgan. Loves to counter-attack because of his bravery over the years. He's had more than his share of injuries too. Hook. Wesley not passing the ball out on that occasion. Sloppy pass again by Peel. Popham does brilliantly well to Jenkins. Williams again in support, but the ball's gone forward. Referee waiting for an advantage to Canada, but it won't come.
I enjoyed that little bit of play from Hook. Do you see him like a matador? Ball in 2 hands, dodging, weaving. Great to see Jenkins out in the wide open spaces. I think Shane Williams probably saw the big fella coming and saw the shadow coming over the west stand. But yeah, James Hook, the way he got himself out of trouble by getting the ball back in both hands, looking to dummy the pass, looking to give the pass, just puts big forwards in front of him in 2 minds as to whether to come and tackle him or not. Just buys him enough time. The other interesting piece of that piece of play was Kevin Morgan in the right position. We've seen Cedric Heyman on Friday night, a winger playing out of position, struggling, and at times we saw Mark Cueto struggling in the fullback position. It's a very difficult position to play fullback in terms of being in the right place at the right time. The good ones make it look easy. That's what Kevin Morgan does.
And don't forget, there's lots more action to come today at 3 o'clock on ITV1. You can see South Africa against Samoa, and of course England will be watching very closely. Then over on ITV4 and STV, Scotland open their World Cup against newcomers Portugal. It kicks off at 5 o'clock. Next up at 7, Ireland take on Namibia. You can see that on ITV4 and UTV. Big day then for the Celtic nations. Ball knocked forward, spotted by Alain Rollin. Good pressure by the Welsh scrum that time.
Yeah, big positive for the Welsh scrum there. It's the knock-on from the number 8, but where did it come from? It stemmed from the pressure that the big boys, Jenkins, Rees and Jones, put on the front row and drove through. Ian Goff hasn't had a mention yet. I've watched his sort of shape change over the last couple of years. Tremendously physical man with a huge work rate. Now here's an opportunity for Wales. Interesting setup in the back line. Sonny Parker looking as though may come in, maybe used as a decoy, but an opportunity perhaps to see one of these Welsh set moves that they can, when they want to, when they execute it properly, can pull off so well.
scrum going down very tight to this touchline.
Crouch. Touch. Pause. Engage.
And again, lots of argy-bargy in the front row.
We talk about the link between forwards and backs sometimes, and it's the forwards, quite rightly, they're buying into this, hopefully, the Wales, by giving them a solid platform. It's not simply the back's ball. The forwards are part of this move by creating a solid platform from which Dwayne Peel can deliver it.
Dwayne Peel prevented from getting the ball in cleanly, so the Canadians are penalised. Free kick. Jonathan Thomas really came on the scene in those games against England and New Zealand in 2003 in Australia.
I'm eternally grateful he wasn't a yard quicker. He might have got me.
Again, that's sloppy. Instead of playing the basic game there, really. Giving the ball to Canada. Very good kick forward by Williams. And it's bounced nicely for the Canadians. Now Wales must release, otherwise they're in big trouble.
Oh, terrible by the Canadian, terrible. Roland right there, they had the ball, they were winning, no one overcommitted. I think Shanklin was back and just said, no, you can have it, you can have it. And the Canadian dived straight over the top and gave up all the territory and the pressure they had. It reminded me a little bit of Paul O'Connell in the second test at Wellington, under the post early on, and he flew over the top and it just let the New Zealanders off the hook. And we remember what happened after that.
Yep. And the classic position there, really, where the defending side very often are penalised because they're isolated and not releasing the ball. Referees seem to want to give penalties in that position.
And you saw that came from a turnover, didn't you? Chatting to Phil Vickery after the game yesterday, it's almost as some teams don't want the ball and try and create the turnovers from the defensive pressure, and then they'll play. That's when the defences are organised. Kevin Morgan is a good positional fullback, but you can see from a turnover there, that kick, he had nowhere to be.
And we're seeing one of the two identical Pletch twins coming onto the field. Mike Pletch has come on, I think, in place of John Teal. So the first change of the game, it's John Teal, very unfortunately leaving the field. Just 13 months ago, he had a heart operation, would you believe? An open heart operation. He's off for the moment for repairs.
Is that right?
Just goes to show you don't need that tall a man at the back of the lineup. It's all to do with teamwork. Martin Williams, the man lifted.
Helps when he's 12 stone and you can get him really, just lob him up there.
Yeah.
Keep it up, Canada. It's a ball. That's once. That's once.
You hear from referee Roland, that's once. You're allowed 2 goes at the rolling ball before the referee tells the side to use it or lose it. Peel organising. Adam Jones just to sneak in for that extra little yard. Now it's Matthew Reese's turn. Third member of the front row is Gethin Jenkins.
Stay back, high balls, Canada. Yeah, counter up, it's fine.
Looks and Gainley for a purpose, but not when it goes wrong.
And Morgan Williams has tapped and he's off, and he's got a foot race to the corner.
Great run by Morgan Williams, looking to support to Monroe, almost got the ball into his half-back partner's hands. What a bright break by Morgan Williams that was.
Oh, yeah, he took his chance well, but it all came, all you forwards back in Wales watching this, they'll be so frustrated. It was so slow, and the guys were stood up, they were tall in the ruck. Canada do what every other side does, they counter up well, they came through the middle, it was play on, they got the penalty, off he went, up the touchline. Goff does well to catch him, but oh, so frustrating.
And Goff just needing a little bit of treatment after making that big tackle. So just time to draw breath. It's been a strange game, hasn't it, with Canada starting so well, Wales then taking it over, but the Canadians are really back in it, in contention.
They are, they're competing ferociously on the floor as the Americans did yesterday, and Wales are struggling to try and maintain or try and generate, some rhythm and tempo. James Hook's there, stood at 10, he's calling for it, doesn't come, he's calling for it. Everyone creeps and gets flat, so then he can't have the ball. Then the forwards just get a bit disjointed, a bit tall in the ruck. They get smashed off it, and it becomes a very disjointed game.
Well, Once again, warming up their replacements. Gareth Thomas, we saw there, looking forward to gaining his 98th national cap at some stage in this competition.
A stunning number of games to play international rugby.
Brian Peel was all record number 9.